There is a growing trend among tennis coaches to make bold claims about the right and the wrong way to hit strokes. If you look on YouTube or if you look on Instagram, you'll see a lot of big red crosses and a lot of big green ticks. And I understand why coaches are doing this, because it's a competitive market and you need to find ways to get people's attention. So I'm not necessarily criticizing the coaches, well, maybe a little bit, but what I am trying to do is help you, because I talk to a lot of players that are really confused about what they're supposed to be doing. They think they're doing a lot of things wrong because they've watched these videos and they say, oh, this is the wrong way to do it. You've got to have your racket in this position or this position or this position, and they're not doing it. So they kind of think they're doing things wrong, when really that's not the problem with their strokes. There's far more fundamental issues that they should be working on. So in this video, I want to kind of dive into that a little bit deeper. Enter Exhibit A. Federer, Nadal and Djokovic, the three greatest tennis players of all time on the male side of things. If we look at their forehand, they all have slightly different grips, slightly different preparations, slightly different swing paths. So it's a little bit ridiculous if the three greatest players of all time have different techniques to claim that there's a right and wrong way to do things. If we look at their serves, they're all slightly different again. If we look at their backhands, again, they're all slightly different. Federer's got a one-hander, Djokovic and Nadal have got two-hander. So that's obviously a major difference and tells you that there isn't a right and a wrong way to do things. But I also want to enter Exhibit B, Hsieh Su Wei. Absolutely amazing player, but very unorthodox. Within doubles, I think she's been #1 in the world. She's won Grand Slams. In singles, she got to, I think her best singles result was the quarterfinal of the Australian Open. So an absolutely phenomenal player, but very unorthodox. And if a coach or most coaches were to look at her hitting shots, they would tell you that she's doing a lot of things wrong, when most of us, and definitely me, I would gladly swap my technique that maybe looks theoretically nicer with everything that she does, because she's a phenomenal tennis player. There are basically only two things that really matter in tennis. Number one is, can you get to the ball? Because if you can't get to the ball in the first place, you can't hit your shot. The second one is, can you control the angle of your racket face at the moment of contact relative to the flight of the ball and your swing path, because that's what ultimately dictates where the ball goes. And your job, number one, is to get the ball back over the net and inside the court, and then hopefully to place your opponent in some kind of difficulty. And it does not matter how you do that. It doesn't matter what your swing looks like. You just have to control the angle of the racket face at the moment of contact. Now, obviously, modern tennis strokes have kind of developed over time, and they've become very optimized so that you can hit with a variety of power and spin and still maintain control. So yes, ideally, if you really want to become a better and better player, you want to be kind of modeling that somewhat and moving your strokes along those lines so that you can theoretically hit more optimized shots. But it really depends on your current ability level. Not everyone has the physical ability to hit shots like professional tennis players. So if your hand-to-eye coordination isn't good enough, you definitely don't want to be doing an ATP forehand or a next-gen style forehand, because the timing required to synchronize the kinetic chain and get the racket lag and make a clean contact and hit the ball consistently, it's something that just realistically most players watching YouTube videos aren't able to do. So it's about you choosing a technique or learning a technique or adapting your technique to become the best version or hit the best type of strokes that you can based on your unique body. So if you want to improve your technique, what you really need to do is analyze it properly and work out where things are going wrong within your stroke. What are the underlying problems? And most of the time, for most players, that means dealing with the fundamentals. A lot of players don't prepare soon enough, they don't set up in the right position, and because of that, it really prevents them from developing the rest of the stroke. Other players really struggle with the timing, and because of that, they're not able to do certain things they're trying to do. But you've got to figure out where things are going on within your stroke. Start with the first problem first and then spend time correcting that until it's no longer a problem. And then you have to work through your stroke, doing that progressively, just keeping in mind how your body functions and that it might not look quite like professional tennis players do. Now, if you'd like a little bit of help with that, I've created a training class that's going to show you the approach that I've used within my own game, because I've been relearning to play left-handed. I've got to about a 4.5 level following a very structured approach. So I've created a class to take you through that approach and talk about how to break down and analyze your strokes and structure your practice, and then talk about some of the things that you can actually do off the court to improve your skill level so you're capable of playing high level tennis. So I'll place a link to that down in the description. So hopefully what I've explained here today makes sense. Try not to get distracted by shiny objects. Just because someone says something's wrong, it doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. You've got to find what works for you and just keep practicing and just trying to get a little bit better every time you play. Okay, hopefully this video has been helpful. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. If you found the video helpful, it'd be much appreciated if you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Okay, catch you next time.